Hey, good morning. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Paul Taylor. I own and operate TCI Development. We're a building contracting company located in Southern California. If you've been following along, we have a brand new project that we just started a couple of days ago. This is an ultra modern mansion. It's a massive structure that encompasses an area that's 185 feet long and 80 feet deep. And we are now chalking this thing out. My guys were here a couple of days ago, chalked out the exterior, and we're going to get started on this project. So if you've ever wanted to get into building or you want to do some DIY projects yourself, you're going to want to watch this project. We're going to cover everything: how to set forms, how to chalk it out, how to set forms, place steel, all of it from start to finish. My channel is relatively new, but we're going to cover everything that you need to know if you want to do projects yourself, or if you're interested in getting into contracting. Follow along on this project. This is going to be a 2-year build, okay? We're still having a little trouble on some of our projects getting materials because that's been going on globally. But this is going to be an outstanding, awesome, one-of-a-kind mansion going here in the Temecula wine country. So you're going to want to follow this project. What's happening out here today is we graded this lot 2.5 years ago, and we did an over-excavation. Now, if you watch my project on Dustin Williams' job, okay, then you're familiar with an over-excavation. I explained all of it as we were doing it. So now we've got the plans approved, and the actual blueprints ended up being bigger than they were originally. We're just making sure that where we did the over excavation, that our house fits within that envelope, okay? We don't want the house to be outside of the over excavation because our compaction reports and our soils density from our soils engineer, all those tests were taken within the footprint of the house. So we normally go a little further outside of where the structure is going to sit, but right now I have Bobby here down below me. If you've been following along, you're familiar with Bobby. He's one of the equipment operators. Bobby is digging some potholes, some deep holes outside of where we chalked out the house. And we have our soils engineer here, Jonathan, and he's going to do some compaction tests in those potholes just to make sure that the soil density and compaction is what it was when we graded the lot. If it is, that means that our house is within the over excavation and we won't have any sinkage or cracking or any kind of settling taking place while we're building this structure, because this structure is quite large. This is similar to building a commercial building, and you'll see it as the building process is coming along. But that's what's happening out here today. Bobby's down here digging some holes outside the envelope of the home. Jonathan is here. He's the geotechnical engineer. He's here doing some compaction tests on in those potholes. And we're going to get rolling on this structure. So I'm going to be covering how to chalk this out, how we went about it. I'm going to be covering every single step of this house from start to finish. Thank all of you who have been following the channel so far, and all you subscribers that I have so far. I hope you're learning something by watching our projects, and hopefully you can learn something by watching this project that'll help you with your project. So let's go down, check out what's happened. Okay, so you can see where Bobby dug down here outside. You can see the chalked out area of the house. Bobby dug this pothole outside the envelope of the house, and Jonathan's down there now, and he's looking at the soil. He's looking at the soil density. He's trying to see if this is compacted soil or if this is just loose native soil. So he's just verifying that everything is compacted the way it's supposed to be, verifying that we are within the over excavation that was done on this lot 2 years ago when we graded. And you know, these are important steps, especially on a structure this size. You want to make sure that you're covered on everything, and you want to make sure that you're not digging out placing a structure out into loose native soil. So okay, you can see right here the string that we placed. Okay, see the strings? They go all the way down full length. All right, these strings are basically a square that we put around the entire structure, okay? When we chalk out our lines, we make sure that these lines are nice and square. These strings that we put up, we make sure they're nice and square. And then we pull all of our dimensions off the plans to chalk this entire thing out. So you can see all these lines over here. All of these dimensions were taken off of that string that's right over here. Okay, that way we're nice and square. But the important part about marking your corners, okay, where the structure will fit inside of it, the important part is making sure you have everything perfectly square when you set these strings. All right, you set these strings because all of our dimensions are pulled off of the string where we chalked it out over here. So we chalk out the whole entire exterior, and then today my guys will be back out here and they will be chalking out all the footings that are going on the interior. So all these lines you see right here are the exterior footings, okay? You can see right here it jogs in 5 inches, 5 3/4, right? These are all the exterior footings on this house, and now they'll be out here today and they will chalk out all the interior footings. As soon as those guys are done, Matt, my plumber, will come out and he will chalk out where all his plumbing trenches are going to go, because inside this house you're going to have all the plumbing trenches for the underground plumbing, for all the bathrooms, showers, everything. So when these guys come out here and dig this foundation and they dig all these footings, they will dig all the plumbing trenches as well. And then Matt can get in here, lay all of his plumbing, and then when these guys do all their backfill out here, because we do backfill and then we have to place sand and plastic and all of our steel, they will backfill all Matt's footings for him. So this is how it's done. You can see out here at the edge of the house, okay? This is the edge of the house over here. You can see how we put a square box all the way around it. Here's our strings going that way, okay, because this is the far end of the house. You can see this house is 185 feet long, okay? You can see right here's the strings. They have everything laid out off of the strings, nice and square. That's the first thing you want to do when you're going to build a structure. If you have a structure that's 20 feet wide and 40 feet long, okay, well, let's lay out some strings perfectly square, 20 feet by 40 feet. You know, do a hypotenuse, pull your dimensions, and make sure everything is square, and then chalk it out. That's the first thing you do. And then, you know, if your structure has inside walls that jog in, like right here, well, you can pull those dimensions off of the outside strings and make sure it's nice and straight. So that's what's happening. So the guys will be out here later today. We'll cover that when they get here. They'll be out here later today chalking out the interior footings. So stand by. Okay, I'm gonna go down inside this pothole that Bobby just dug, and you can see where the soil changes. You see right here, it comes up right here and goes down. So it looks like we are outside of our over excavation. This was the ramp that Bobby came down when he was grading and then started over Xing over here, which is a little too close to our structure. So we're gonna have to dig this all up right here at this end of the house and do an over X. But you can see where the soil changes. Okay, we dug down right here. That was Bobby's ramp that he had. He was grading up here on top of the ground, and he was going down here, and then they were compacting and building up, doing an over excavation. So it looks like we're outside of the over excavation over here. And I'll show you how close that is to the structure. So we're gonna have to dig this area up and do an over X on this end of the house. Like I said, the house ended up being a lot longer than originally anticipated, and we wanna make sure that we're over excavated at least, at bare minimum, 5 feet outside of the envelope of the house. Okay, so you can see right here, there's the very edge of the house right there. Down there, I showed you the transition where Bobby had the ramp where he graded up here. Well, actually, it was at the top of this hill. And he ramped this down and did an over X, but we're a little too close. So you can see down here, I just showed you where the transition is, where Bobby did the over excavation, okay? And you can see right there, the edge of the house, right? So this originally started up here on top of this hill. That's where the top, well, actually about this high. They took about 3 or 4 feet off the top. That was the original top of the property. They graded this down, and you saw where Bobby ramped down. You saw it down there. I showed you how it ramped down. Well, the over excavation probably took place, probably stopped right out there in the middle of that room. And we need all of these footings to be within the over excavation. So now we're gonna have to get a bigger piece of equipment out here, a larger excavator. We're gonna have to dig up this whole area, do an over excavation. That way my footings over here, when we dig these footings and we build this structure, that is sitting on compacted soil. Okay, so we will over X all the way out here, about 5 to 10 feet outside the envelope of the house, and we will do all of our compaction with our over excavation. We will go down, dig down real deep, probably 10 to 14 feet. We will compact this soil all the way back up to the ground, and now we have suitable stable soil to build on when we dig these footings. So that's what's happening out here. Getting it done, but this is what it takes, okay? You want to make sure if you're building a structure, because when we dig these footings, Jonathan's going to come back out, the soils engineer that you just saw down there, he's going to come back out and he's going to do a compaction test on our footings, just to make sure all of our footings are on stable, compacted soil. So this is the way you do it. You want to make sure your foundation's not going to crack or fall apart. You're not going to have sinking like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Well, this is how you get that done. Okay, Jonathan, our soils engineer, recommended that we come out here on the front side of the house and we do the same thing that we did over there. He wants us to dig out here and make sure that we are over excavated further out this way. We're almost certain that we are. Like I said, it's been 2 years since we graded this lot, and we came back last week and we had to do a scarify. We just took 6 inches off the top of the lot because we had a little bit of erosion and all that. And then we made sure that no squirrels or nothing was burrowing underneath here that would cause weakness in the soil or may cause it to be unstable. So now Bobby's gonna dig outside the front of the structure, and we're gonna look at the soil there and make sure it is compacted soil from before when we did the over excavation. We're almost certain that it is, but being almost certain is not good enough, so we're gonna be certain. So he's gonna dig right now and we'll see what the results are. Okay, let's go down here and check out what's happening.
Oh yeah.
So you want to?
How we looking?
Like I'm eating breakfast.
Yeah, you're always eating breakfast. How does this pothole look?
Not good.
Not good.
Sand.
Okay.
I don't remember us being this close to the driveway when we laid this out.
So what we got here is we are once again on this side, on the front of the house, we are outside of the over excavation. So this is why we dug this pothole. So we hit sand over here, which means not compacted soil. So we're gonna dig a square in this whole entire area, and we're gonna over X this whole area. Now, we don't have to be concerned about it over here because you see how far back this is, right? The house jogs in and goes back probably 25 feet or so, and we know we're over excavated there. But this whole entire room on this end of the structure, all of that is outside of our over excavation. So we're gonna be doing that today. We're gonna dig this out. We're gonna get equipment brought in here right now, bigger equipment, because we have to go down quite deep. We have a compaction wheel, so we're gonna put the soil back and then get the compaction wheel and compact this thing all the way back up. So Jonathan, our soils engineer, is recommending now that we come in here. This is about 15 feet from the line to where the house is, that we come in and dig another pothole right here, just to make sure that that portion of the house is within the over excavation. Okay, so we have another pothole that we dug outside the front of the structure, and we're going to go over now and find out from Jonathan, our soils engineer, what's happening. Jonathan, can you explain what's happened here? We dug this hole over here outside the front of the structure. Now we've dug this one in within. So can you tell us what's going on?
Yeah, so we're just trying to locate where that contact between native and like the fill would be.
Right.
And we pretty much pinpointed on this side. This is all fill where we're at here.
So this is good here.
So this is solid right here.
Okay.
So what Bobby's gonna do, he's gonna have to excavate this little part out about another 5 feet away from the boundary here.
Okay.
And then we're gonna end up kind of coming over here, connect it. Yeah, we're gonna connect it around and kind of cut across over here. But we're gonna put another pothole right over here.
Okay.
Make sure we're still in the fill over there, and I think we should be good from there.
So that's it. That's from the soils engineer, Jonathan. So we're gonna go outside that line over there where Bobby's standing. We're gonna pretty much excavate this whole corner. We're gonna go about another 5 feet that way. In here, we're good. So we're good up to right up to here where Jonathan's standing. All that's good. It's just this room here that's the concern. So we're going to get a big piece of equipment in here, and we're going to excavate this thing down, compact it all the way back up, and re-chalk these lines, and then we'll be good to go. So this is what you do. You know, you want to build on stable ground. This is how you do it. Like I said, This project has changed over the last couple years since the lot was graded and the house is a lot bigger. So, you know, you don't just want to assume that everything is good. Okay? You don't want to do that. So that's what's happening out here. You don't want to assume that the lot is still good that we graded 2 years ago. So we're just making sure before we put concrete footings here that it's all within the compaction envelope. So that's what's happening out here today. So there's a lot to take into consideration if you're going to get into building, right? The very first thing you want to consider is your lot stable? You saw this on Dustin Williams' project, right? You saw what we had to do there. I mean, that's just a garage that's going up. That was a very extensive project, an excavating project just for that garage. And this structure right here is more than 10 times the size of that garage. So you're gonna get into contracting, you're gonna do a project yourself. Stable, buildable soil is what you're after. This is how you get it here. We bring out the professionals. Jonathan, our soils geotechnical engineer, he's out here. We bring in guys like Bobby. You've seen him on some of our other projects. We never assume that, oh yeah, it's good. Let's just go ahead and put footings here. This ground looks good. Oh, let's dig a shovel in it and check it out. We don't do that. We dig way down. We can tell if we compacted in that area or not because we can see the density of the soil. As you saw, we dug that first one over there, that first hole outside the front of the house. It was very sandy and loomy soil. That's non-compacted soil. So we know for a fact that we did not compact in that area. We're gonna do that now. So we're gonna cover all of it. Hopefully you guys have learned something by watching this video. Hopefully you'll follow along on all of our projects. We have another huge mansion that's coming up, right? We still have a bunch of projects that we're finishing. I'll cover the 4,000 square foot we have going up in wine country. We're about to get final on that. But this year has been very difficult. We've been busier than ever, but it's been very difficult getting materials. We're hoping that that won't be the case when we get into the building on this. So the plan on this one right now, this is Monday. Christmas is coming up this Saturday. We're hoping the following Monday, 1 week from now, that we're gonna be excavating these footings. You know, we did have some rain. This soil here, right, is very expansive soil. We don't wanna dig footings and then have it pour rain because it will be like a sponge and we will have to wait for weeks for it to dry out. Then we'll have to have Jonathan come back out, do a compaction test on our footings, which we're gonna have him do either way. So that's what's happening. This is how you do it. This is how you get things done. Continue to follow along on our channel. Give us a thumbs up on our video. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us along on all of our projects. We will update you on Dustin Williams' project. We're still being held up by the city on that. We will update you soon on that project. You guys have an awesome day. Thank you. Give us a thumbs up. And hopefully you can learn something by watching our projects. That'll help you with your project.